Lady in White.
Yeah.
1988.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be one of my favorite movies.
Love it.
Written and directed by Frank LaLoggia and starring a young Lucas Haas as Frankie Scarlatti, a grade school kid in the 60s who on Halloween gets locked in the school cloakroom as a prank.
Yeah.
And then experiences something wondrous and terrifying and life-changing.
Right?
Now, I've drawn Frankie here.
Yeah.
And since Halloween's approaching, I'm going to ink and color him while you and I talk about Lady in White.
Oh, good.
First, though, a little housekeeping.
Okay.
I want to do a quick rundown of my tools and materials, almost as if it mattered at all.
Right, and you'll put them in the info, too.
I will put them in the info, and what the info will say is that I'm on cold-pressed watercolor paper, 10 by 14 this time, so slightly larger than my usual paper.
Good.
The Dr. Martens Black Star ink for the line work and wash, and Daniel Smith watercolors to finish it up.
Great, all right.
All right. Now, I could talk about Lady in White for hours.
Right.
But usually, you and I can only have these discussions for about 9 or 10 minutes before we get sick of each other. So let's just get down to it.
Okay.
This is a must-watch Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And I know we draw mostly monsters and villains
Right.
with this YouTube thing we're doing.
Yeah.
Because they're fun. And make no mistake, there are monsters in Lady in White.
Yes.
And villains.
Right.
But it's not Frankie. Frankie's not a villain at all.
He's a hero.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually is a hero.
Yeah.
And he's our access point into the story.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the reason I'm drawing him is because, well, it's October.
Yes.
And Halloween's approaching.
Right.
And this kid just embodies Halloween.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Halloweens of our childhood.
Right.
Halloween's like they don't have Halloweens anymore. This whole movie really celebrates that kind of long-gone Halloween.
Right.
The kind of Halloween where you could just trick-or-treat until everyone turned their porch lights off.
Yes.
And they hadn't yet invented trunk or treat.
Oh, God. Right.
It's spooky. It's fun. It's nostalgic.
Right?
It's also very dark in places.
Oh, it is.
And I think it's very easy to put yourself inside the character of little Frankie.
Yeah.
And the image of Frankie that I decided on isn't one of the dark, scary moments of Lady in White.
And there are plenty of those.
Oh, yeah. There's all different kinds of scary in that movie. But I decided to draw him in this moment in the film where Frankie likes to tell stories.
Yeah.
To write stories, and to entertain people with his stories.
Yes.
And there's this scene in the movie where it's Halloween afternoon, and he's at school, and he's reading a story that he wrote to the rest of the class.
The beast that destroyed London.
Right, the beast that destroyed London. And I'm trying, I don't know if I succeeded, but I tried to capture that moment in the story where Frankie knows he's got him hooked.
Oh, yeah.
They're hanging on to his every word, and he's just about to lower the boom and deliver the twist in the story. And he can barely contain his joy and anticipation of their reaction.
Right.
And that is where the character of Frankie really hits home for me.
Yeah.
And comes alive. The storyteller. The showman. I think the scene just makes me feel like a kid again on Halloween. Yeah. And that's a really good feeling to hang on to.
Seriously. And it really, that movie puts you in that frame of mind.
Right.
It's the perfect setup for the Halloween season.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm being kind of cautious about not spoiling things as if there is someone who hasn't seen this.
Right.
But it's kind of hard for me to imagine someone not having seen this movie in the last 30-some years.
Right, yeah.
It seems like it used to play on TV all the time.
Yeah, it did. But you bring that up. There was a point where I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
And you were the one who showed it to me.
Oh, man. I love being the conduit between great movies and the people who haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I actually saw part of it on TV when I was younger.
Okay.
The cloakroom part.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Scared the heck out of me.
I bet.
Yeah. But I don't know if my family was heading out or something happened and I didn't get to see the rest of the movie.
Okay.
I really only saw that cloakroom scene, and I never knew what movie it was.
Wow.
Never saw the name, and for years.
Wow.
It just sat there in my brain, and I hope to find it again.
And then?
And then it was Halloween time, and I was hanging out with you, and you were like, want to watch Lady in White?
Okay.
And I said, sure, I've never seen it. And then you put the disc in the player, and we watched it. And of course, I loved it right from the start. But the real magic happened when that scene came on.
The cloakroom scene.
Right? And all those years of wondering what that movie was came flooding back into my brain.
Right.
and it was like the other shoe finally dropped.
That's great.
And I was really happy to finally find out what that movie was.
That's great.
And happy the rest of the movie was so amazing.
It really is. You know, I'm really, listening to that story,
Yeah.
I know this gets said a lot, but I'm really like a hero.
It gets said a lot by you.
Whoever says it. It doesn't matter who says it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm adding the color now.
Nice colors.
Watercolors over ink wash.
Yeah, I like those.
And a lot of the images that you'll find online of Lady in White are very cool, like the blue moonlight shining down on Frankie in the cloakroom.
Right.
Or the Lady in White emerging from the shadows.
Yeah.
But the counterpoint to all of that is all the scenes that are shot in the warm light of autumn.
Oh, yeah.
The reds and the golds and the browns of the autumn leaves with the light shining through them.
Right.
And this scene in particular in the classroom, where he's reading his story, it's really lit by the sun through the windows, hanging low in the sky, and the candlelight from the jack-o'-lanterns. It's very warm visually and emotionally.
It is.
It's really one of the best scenes.
Yes, I agree.
It's one of the scenes in this movie that still, to this day, hits me with the same impact after countless repeated viewings.
Yes.
As it did the first time I saw the film.
Right?
It still gets to me.
Yeah.
Same thing with that first time that you see the Lady in White glide down the stairs behind an unsuspecting Frankie
Oh, my.
in that seemingly abandoned house.
Right?
That whole scene, it's the visuals.
Right.
It's the swell of the music.
Oh, I know.
The whole movie, by the way, scored by Frank LaLoggia,
Oh, right. Yeah.
as you recall.
That's right.
That scene, it's perfect.
Oh,
it
yeah.
still gives me chills, even though I've seen it dozens of times.
Right, I know. Same for me with the scene out at the archery range
Oh, yeah.
when, I don't want to spoil anything, but when Frankie figures
When
it
Frankie figures it out. That's crazy.
out. It is crazy.
That's so intense.
Yes.
I get chills on that one.
Oh, I know.
Another one that hits hard
Yeah.
in a different way, because it's kind of dark, but
Okay.
the events surrounding Harold Williams' release
Oh,
from
yes.
jail,
Oh, my gosh.
I can't.
No.
There are times I have to get up and leave the room
Right?
for that scene.
Yes.
It's too much.
It really is.
It's too powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord, that scene.
I know.
Oh, that scene's like a punch in the gut.
It really is.
I don't want to spoil it, but that scene, I
Yeah.
just fly into a rage sometimes.
Oh, I know.
I'm going to bang my head against the wall.
Right? And like I said earlier, the cloakroom scene.
The cloakroom scene.
Yeah, I
Of
still
course.
hold my breath when I watch that scene.
Yeah, it's really
It's so
visceral.
scary. Yeah.
It's you can feel that scene.
You really can.
You know what else you can feel?
What?
Let me do one more.
Okay.
No spoilers,
Okay.
but every dang time that Gino steps on that piece of broken glass
Yes.
and it just slides effortlessly
no.
into his foot, it's the sound.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It's more
Yeah.
the sound than the visuals.
Right?
And the visuals in that scene are bad enough.
They are. Yes.
But the sound of
The sound.
With this new Frankie piece that I'm working on,
Yeah.
I wanted to try something a little different with the tools.
Okay.
I picked up a big fat watercolor brush, knowing that I would be doing a huge, expansive wash behind
Okay.
the figure. This is the first time I've tried a brush this big, and I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, good.
It really
Woo.
worked well. And every time we experiment with something new here in
Yeah.
the studio, whether I screw it up massively or somehow succeed beyond my expectations, I learned
Right.
something about the tools or the techniques.
Good.
And I learned a little something working with this larger brush and the watercolors today. So
That's great.
I'm going to keep trying out new stuff and trying to improve.
Yes.
So here's little Frankie Scarlatti
Yeah.
on Halloween in
Nice.
his Bela Lugosi Dracula costume, reading his stories.
Very nice.
I kind of like the way this turned out.
Yes.
This feels like fall to me.
Uh-huh.
It feels like Halloween.
Absolutely.
There's kind of a nice glow about it.
Right.
To whatever degree it's a success, it makes me
Yeah.
want to try to learn about watercolor more.
Oh,
so
that's
I'd
great.
like to do more of these.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
And I also think it looks a lot like Lucas Haas.
A little bit, I
Yeah.
guess. It's kind of a cartoony version of Lucas.
Yeah.
I don't think that Lucas has a giant pumpkin head, but it fits the style of this illustration.
Yes, very nice.
Thanks. Happy Halloween, Toad.
Hey! Happy Halloween.